Hey folks, Man here with another Watcher Realms video. Last video I put out just took a look at Edith's skill kit, her awakenings, all about her. Got a good feel for her. Now that she's out on global, I actually want to take a look at her and see how well she performs. So to do so, we need to do something with quite a bit of enemies for her to go up against. Unfortunately, our options are semi-limited, so we're going to test out in Gear Raid 1. We are going to also test out some other tanks and see how well they do. So we'll start off with Edith. I will give every tank a Lord bonus. So every tank we test out will have that bonus. We will test out our defense scaling units, see how well they do. So Edith, Trusk, and Crodor. We are 3 defense scaling tanks that are legendary. So we'll take a look at that. Also probably test out Avalon as well. Just because that is her epic counterpart. So I will, each tank will get Invig, and I will use Hollow to heal them. I thought about using Vortex to heal because of his shielding, so that way it would benefit Crodor, but the shield's not going to last long, so I kind of ruled that out. So we'll go ahead and test out Edith first. We'll go ahead and drop her. We're going to face her this way so that way she can hit all the enemies in a line across. And then we will give her a hollow. Kind of interested to see the knockback. So there's 1 hit and 2 hits. So it really didn't even knock back anything. Huge reminder, these enemies are resistant to physical damage, so she's not going to do tons. Not impressed with the knockback at all. Maybe in some other events it'll do a little bit better, but I don't see much knockback at all. I guess it's pushing forward a little bit that way, but it's not anything. They're still within attack range, so I don't know that it's doing too much. So her ult's hitting for about 10k a hit, and it's gonna hit 8 enemies at a time, so she's gonna do 80k per ult. I guess I could have just put on all the auto ult. I never use it, but now she's starting to get smacked around just a bit. We'll just and the wall is broken. See how well she did. So just about 1.5 mil damage. That's pretty good. Took about 2 mil there at the end. I mean, there was a ton of enemies. You gotta remember this. A ton of enemies on her. She almost started to go, but in most content, that's not going to be the case. So she definitely could take some hits pretty well. We're going to go ahead and try out another tank. So we're not going to do Trusk yet. He has magic damage, so I already know that he will do quite a bit more. We're going to go ahead and use Crodor. Now, Crodor, I could go either way with Lords. He's not going to get much shielding up time, so Eldir would be better, and I do have Eldir, but we're going to go ahead with Hars, just for the benefits. We'll go ahead and it'll be the same thing. Corridor down first. We'll auto cast this time. Now, Crodor is a single target So outside of him triggering his HP threshold move, that's the only time he's going to do AoE damage. But really, we're going to just take a look at it survivability wise, see how well he does. Kind of would love to trigger his threshold. I don't know though. You can kind of see his HP bar is not really chunking like Edith was. Now it's starting to take a little bit more, but still, he hasn't dropped under 80% HP this entire time. Definitely not chunking like hers was. There was one point, if I remember right, she had like 30% HP. Yeah, he just never dropped low enough. So, defensive wise, he definitely held up a lot better. All three of these tanks are in complete defense percent right sides. You can see he took a lot less damage. Obviously, he did less damage, but he's single target, so that's going to be the big kicker. But he took almost half the damage that she did. And I'll go over their gear sets after, but she has more defense than he has. Alright, we're going to try out our last one. We're going to go with Trusk. I don't have a legendary lord for Esotericist, so we're just gonna go with what we have. You don't have Trusk. Unfortunate. I do like him quite a bit. He works really well in content, and he does magic damage, so for a tank, that's pretty nice to have. His ult also will pull an enemy towards him, which I like too. He can get HP back himself. So he has a really nice toolkit. Now Trust does have slightly more defense than the other two have. Damage-wise, he's definitely going to win this. Just hands down. So we're getting to the point where our wall's going to break. He's really not dropped too hard in HP. He has stayed above about 80%, same thing. With all those enemies, he should be taking tons of damage. We'll take a look. So 1.3 mil damage taken. Not as much, you know, I mean, he took a little bit more than Crowdor did. However, nowhere near what Edith did. And you can see damage-wise, yeah, I mean, he's just through the roof. So we'll kind of take a look real quick. So you can see she has 11.6k She does have 56k health. The trust is going to be a little bit better. So he has 13.3k defense, 70k health. And Crodor, so he's got about 77k health, got 11k defense. So defensive wise, Edith and Crodor were pretty even there. He does have a complete set of Guardian. So you know what? Let's be fair. We're gonna swap these two. They're very similar builds, but he's in a complete set. So let's see how well she does in a complete set. See if that makes a difference. Trusk had the much better kit for this content. So I knew damage-wise he would come out superior. Crodor has a really nice kit though, so for him it's... his defensive kit is just nice. He gains... he's in a really good faction, so he gains a lot of benefit from that as well. Still, I'm really not seeing... if the knockback is only going to be half a tile, not too impressed. And it's only those first two hits. We still have 2 more waves of the AoE enemies, and still, her health is not really maintaining like the other twos did. Got down to half right there. Starting to chunk really low. The wall breaking is going to save her life. Alright, we'll see how well she did here. She took more damage with a full Guardian set. Okay. Alright, so as you can tell, he just I'm not impressed at all. I think she would probably benefit really well from Guild vs Guild, but she might be good there. I think in any content where you need to worry about Trusk isn't even in a full set, and he took considerably less damage than her. Any content where there's going to be big groupings and stuff, and you need survivability, probably not the best. You could probably put some more HP into her, but her actual defensive scaling isn't nowhere near what it needs to be to keep up. Yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look at her counterpart here. Yeah, she does. Avalon is one of my favorite tanks. This has a really nice kit. Gonna benefit really well from Hollow because of that rage regen. Gonna throw out tons of stuns. Constantly getting that ult back. And really not taking any damage right now. Her self-shielding is happening quite frequently. So Hollow hasn't even had to pop her ult yet. Which I want the ult so that way increases the amount of rage she's getting. I'll just manual auto. Oh, I didn't. That would be why. That would be right. All right though. I think this is still gonna prove exactly what I want to see. Constantly getting those stuns out. Viability wise, she hasn't dropped anywhere near as low as Edith was dropping. She does get shielding when she throws out her ult, so that helps a lot. We're looking to see how well she did. So she took about the same amount of damage, but it's really important to factor in that she was shielding herself, and A5 Evelyn has healing too. So she was able to put out some self-heals. Her damage was nowhere near anywhere what Edith's was, but you could see from her HP it never got under 75%. It was pretty consistent. So my overall take on Edith is going to be, if you pull her and you don't have any other good tanks, definitely go for her. She doesn't have any way to get her health back up. She has no shielding. She is going to be taking damage, so getting her stacks is going to be really hard to maintain. Yeah, in content where she's not the primary tank and she can sit behind another tank, I think she'd be just fine. But in content where you're relying on her to solo a lane tank, you're better off putting in like Abomination or just any other tank that can hold through. They'll take less damage, and they'll. I mean, her damage was good, but yeah, kind of my overall thought on it. We'll I guess we'll take a look and show you what they're in. We already looked at their HP and defense. Trust benefited from the magic, but he does have a little bit. I mean, he's got about 20% crit rate, not much crit damage. I know she's in 0% crit rate. She does. Her and Crodor is about the closest even match they could get. They were really close with the amount of defense they had. He's got a little bit. Yeah, he's got 12% crit rate. It's not gonna. His damage wasn't, what we were looking at. It was the actual damage taken, which was about half of what she had. She's got a considerable amount more rage regen than he had. Same thing with Trusk. Artifact. They should all be in Bastion Ring. Yeah. And Crodor's was 6, but that extra HP isn't gonna reduce the amount of damage he's taken in. Evelyn, obviously she doesn't scale off of defense. She doesn't have the best defense, so that's why she's gonna be taking a lot more damage than the other ones were. She does have 106k HP, so she did benefit from that. Not much rage regen, but with Hollow paired with her, I mean, that's helping her tons. No crit rate, no crit damage. And then she's in a Bastion Ring as well. So, I mean, there's nothing that out-favors one over the other. Obviously, like I said a few times, Trust does magic damage, and he does it AoE, so he's going to benefit from the damage in there, but she by far took the most damage than anybody, and really, without her talent really progging, this is why she just was getting no stacks of Aegis at all, and it's not benefiting her one bit. I think the talent is kind of wasted, just because She consumes the stack when she gets hit, and when she's constantly getting hit, she's not keeping her stacks up. I think that shield recharge is way too long of a cooldown. Just max skill is going to be 30 seconds. So obviously I'm 4 seconds off of that. I put in skill dust without doing any crystals. It was just kind of where everything hit. Rodor, he doesn't have any dust in. He doesn't have anything. He just right out. Trust does have the same thing, just to skill crystals, nothing too fancy. But if you're gonna go with, you know, tanking, I don't know that she's gonna, as a backline tank, sure, but if you don't have a way for her to keep her stacks up, it's worthless. And when you're looking for tanking content, so after taking a look at this stuff, I probably give her a B-. I don't. Very disappointing in the fact that she couldn't even maintain her health as well as an epic tank in the same situation. She took equal damage with 3 times the amount of defense. Yeah, that's my thoughts. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. Thanks for watching.